we have just restarted the virtual machine after restoring it from the good old snapshot. The snapshot was taken when the databases were not upgraded, and I started that virtual machine in run level 3 to conserve resources. All my databases are back to what they were. This is an 11G database, this is an 11G database, this is a 12.1 non-container database, this is 12.2 non-container database, this is 18C non-CDB, and this is our containerized database. Just to show you PDBs, I don't have the environment set, looks like. That function seems to be missing from my environment. Let us put it. I have some functions written for ease of use, and the PDBs function seems to be missing from my environment file since I restored it from the snapshot. So, the PDBs function and down below seems to be missing. Then I added those, I come out, I re-log in as Oracle, then I said menu, and then I said PDBs. So, we have one pluggable database which is mounted. Remember, our container database does not have Database Vault and Oracle label security. I must install it before I begin the upgrade. So, I am first opening all the pluggable databases. Sorry, typo, it should be open. Once that is done, let us connect through the VNC, launch DBCA, get those components installed in our pluggable database. I am setting the environment. I said which DBCA, and then let us launch the DBCA and get those two components installed in our container database. So, we are in our attempt 2 where we want to run everything in a pro mode. So, I will unleash the pre and post upgrade fixed shell scripts by uncommenting them from my config files. So, that way there is no manual intervention throughout the process. First things first, let us configure in my container database the two missing components. So, we want Oracle label security and Oracle database vault. No need to have it configured, just have them registered. No need for Oracle R analysis, and let it, it says it will stop the database as part of this process, which is fine, and let it complete. In the meanwhile, let us understand that I have, let us understand each of those databases, they are restored to their defaults. So, I say DB details, this is my 11G database. I set the environment to something else. I say DB details, it is 11.2B database which will be upgraded to 12.2 non-CDB. Again I said change the environment to 3 and I said DB details. This is going to be 12.1020 database. Name of it is NCDB121. The next one is 12.2. Again I said DB details. So, this is 12.2. This will be created as one pluggable database into 19C. I go to the fifth one, DB details. This is 18.12 database. name of it is non-CDB 18C. So all those databases are there as they were prior to the start of upgrade. So what changes are we introducing here? Let me go and edit my auto upgrade file. Everything else remains the same. I want all the upgrades to start right away. That's the first change. And I want my after and before action scripts to be uncommented, so that there's no manual intervention. I'm going to give you a glimpse of what I have in those scripts. My scripts I have stored in the home directory under custom scripts, and the first one is pre. So as part of pre, I am setting my environment to 12.1 database non-CDB 121, which has that Apex schema installed. Here I am not going to wait for my auto upgrade to error out. As part of, even before starting my auto upgrade actual deploy mode, the script will go and drop that Apex schema from the database. That's the pre part. And then as part of the post, I already talked about this. We need to install Oracle Label Security, Database Vault in the pluggable databases to have a parity between the pluggable databases and the container database. So for my 11G database, we are going to install those components by running their installers, which is Oracle Label Security for this pluggable database. This will be run post upgrade, post plugin. And then we install the Oracle Database Vault. Then we change the character set for that database. We do a character change for the 12.1 database that eventually would become a pluggable database inside my CDB. So we do the character set change for that. Any resolved records, you don't want to see them lying. So we will clear the plugin violations for all the resolved activity. This will show you everything is nice and clean, and then eventually all those SRVCTL remove. So those databases which are no longer there, will remove them from the Oracle local registry, and the 11G database that we are going to upgrade to 12.2 as a non-CDB, that need not be removed, that simply has to be upgraded. So instead of doing these activities manually, this time we are all in a pro mode. Now there's no need for us to run analyze, because once you run it in a deploy mode is all encompassing. Here I go to various different modes. One can start an auto upgrade, one can start separately analyze, separately fix up, or deploy. This time I am not going to run analyze and fix up. I am going to directly run deploy, because I know already beforehand that analyze and fix up related activities are covered in deploy. Deploy runs setup, pre-upgrade, pre-checks, pre-fix up, guaranteed restore points, shutting down the database, the drain stage, DB upgrade, post check, post fix up, and post upgrade activities, which includes plugging the database. And once all of it is done, then comes my post script, which I have just shown you, the custom script at the end of everything, post upgrade fixes.sh, and all that has been enabled via my auto upgrade UPG config file. I have uncommented them, so one will run before the start of upgrade and one will run at the end of the upgrade. Everything else in my config file just remains the same. And if we have our components already configured in our container database, just set the Java path. So I said my Oracle home JDK bin directory must be there in the path apart from the regular ones. I said which Java, it should come from my 19C. Just to validate, I said Java hyphen version, it has to be 1.8. So 1.80261, and now no more noob mode. This is a pro mode. So I am going to directly start by saying Java hyphen jar Oracle home rdbms admin auto upgrade dot jar hyphen mode is deploy. I missed config file. Config file is /home/oracle auto upg warzone.cfg, and hyphen mode is directly the deploy mode. No more analyze and anything. Let's go and sit there directly under the log location. So my log location is currently empty because I restored the machine from a fresh, the pre-upgrade snapshots. I am all set and I simply run it with deploy mode. So it will launch the auto upgrade tool and it will run the pre-upgrade scripts. So you see there's a CFG tool logs upgrade and auto, and you see there's a before action script now. So the before action script, in this case the pre-script, is responsible for dropping the Apex schema from my 12.1 database. The instructions have already been coded in a form of a shell script which has been uncommented from my auto upgrade config file. So if somebody wants to see what's the auto upgrade doing, it compiles everything. This time special attention, there's a pre-upgrade script to be run. So it will run the pre-upgrade before action, and at the end of it, it will, as you could see here, it has already picked up running that before action script, and it is recording the output generated by that script on my standard output device will be captured in a form of a file. Let's see, CPU utilization would tell us that it is indeed non-CDB 121 which is currently showing CPU activity. That's because you are dropping the Apex schema from it, and once all of it is all good, it's going to run analyze fix-ups as part of the deploy mode. So let's wait for that activity to finish and we should all see a command prompt being written. Yeah, so everything looks okay. 5 databases to be processed. I am back on command prompt. I say lsj and all of them would get started. I don't know whether it will this time pick up all 5 databases or because of the lack of CPU it still keeps one hanging. I don't know, but one thing is for sure, none of those are going to error out this time. From start to end, it is one single auto upgrade command that I apply, which is this, and everything will be taken care of as part of this activity. So let's see how it is rocking my CPU as of now. So all of you should soon see a good CPU rocking activity. Currently it's 85% idle, and sooner it would start picking up each and every of those scheduled upgrades. None of them is scheduled. I said start off all of it just now. So it started picking up the first one. It is running prefix ups against that database, and then it will go ahead and pick up all the other ones. Remember, all of them are scheduled to start immediately. None of them is scheduled for a future time. So it's already Sunday 1st of November. It's 1 AM in the night, and the upgrade is going to take some time, but I am not going to hold this video. Once I see everything is rolling, it has started really picking up those upgrades, I am going to stop the video and then resume it maybe tomorrow morning, because the upgrade is going to run for 2.5 hours for all those 5 databases, and I don't want to be a night rider while those upgrades are running. My machine is good enough, it can do it even when I am not around. Let the upgrades go through at its own pace, and I will resume this video tomorrow morning to show you that all the upgrades are done, and I will show you that no manual intervention for the cleanup plugin violation would be required. All that we will have to do is to review the log files so that we understand it has indeed run through all those phases, including the custom post upgrade scripts. Slowly and steadily it has picked up the next one also. Don't go by this one. Scheduled means it's not that you have scheduled it for a future time. You can see the start time is immediate. If you would have scheduled it by changing the parameter start time to some future time, that future time would have appeared here. That's not the case. So at a delay of 1 or 2 minutes, it has automatically said, okay, this I will start. 1 minute later I would start the other one. 1 or 2 minutes later I am going to start another one. 1 and 2 minutes later I will start another one. So at a delay of only 1 minute, it is going to pick up all of them. So it's already 1:10 and it has already picked up the next one. So it all doesn't start all at the same triggering moment. It adds a natural delay of 1 minute between the jobs, and then it picks up those jobs from the queue, each job having its own ID. It's already 1:11. I am expecting it to have picked up the next one as well, or it must be about to pick up this one as well. So it has already begun the DB upgrade, whereas the other ones are in the fix up. This one is still set up and preparing. The task, the operation of preparing has finished. So any moment from now it should pick up the others as well. So here the upgrade has just begun, 0%. This is in the drain phase where it is shutting down the database, whereas here it is still running prefix ups. Some of the prefix ups are there, and now you see it has picked up this one as well. So it's already 1:11 and it has picked up the one. This one is scheduled to start in another minute. In the meanwhile, this is being upgraded, this one is being upgraded, this one is in prefix up, and this is still loading the database information of the source for prefix ups. And I am waiting. It's almost 1:12 AM now. In some time from now, we should still see, as long as CPU it finds is free, it should be able to pick up the next one as well. And in the meanwhile, my machine started rocking. So this time what I have done, I have slightly made a change in the machine's configuration. I have, instead of running it on a 6 CPU machine, I added one more virtual CPU to it, given that it takes long time for those upgrades to run through. So I gave one extra CPU. There's no more I can give to this one. One core I kept free for my host machine, which is a Windows machine, on which I am running, on top of which I am running this virtual machine. So out of 8 cores I have, 7 cores I have given to this virtual machine, and one core I kept free for the host. Not a recommended practice, but I wanted to cut this video and without having a lag on the CPU. The only way I could do it is by adding more compute power to it. Let's come back here and say LSJ. So although it's 12:13, it has not yet picked up. So it is already feeling that no, I may not have sufficient CPU to get started off with the 5th upgrade, but the others have begun. Now this time no error, no manual intervention, nothing. From start to end, one single command to take you from the current state to the desired state. One more final time, LSJ, and all the 4 DB upgrades have begun. I don't feel that it's going to pick it up this one, because for the lack of CPU, it might not pick it up unless one of the other tasks is completed. I wanted it to pick up 5 at a time, so all of them go in parallel to reduce the time. But nonetheless, I am not going to babysit this activity throughout the night. Let it run at its own speed. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, I am going to capture the screenshot as to how it has progressed. Currently, this is what we see. I show you the status, and all my 5 upgrades are there. So it has already done this one, 12.1, 12.2, 11.1a, 18c. The one that it has not picked up yet is non-CDB 112b LSJ, and non-CDB 112b is scheduled because it doesn't find it suitable to run all of them in all at the same time for the lack of CPU that I have. And you might see sooner, all my CPUs must be super busy now. With that, let me pause this video and I will see you back tomorrow morning, where I show you the remainder of this upgrade. Well, there is nothing that would be remaining by that time. All my databases with everything including the post upgrade scripts would have completed. So with that, I bid a good night to you and we'll see you back at the other side tomorrow morning. So welcome back. I left you yesterday night while those upgrades were all running, and for some time after I signed off from that video, I was still monitoring it, and you could see that while I was monitoring, the jobs were really progressing very well. Some of them completed, then it picked up the last one, and as I come this morning, I could see all my upgrades are completed. The one that was running when I checked last night was 94% upgraded, and when I come back today morning, I see that the last one also has completed fine. So all jobs were successfully completed. What I don't know is whether it was equally good in picking up my post upgrade scripts. So I go to the MNT stage UPG logs, where I would like to see all my logs locations, and I am going to CFG2 logs or upgrade auto, and let's see. And I could see that it has indeed performed all the after actions, and this is the outcome of that after actions. So you could see there was a post script, you opened all the databases, I saved all the PDB states. There were a lot of warnings I wanted to show you before I go and fix them, or before my scripts go and fix them. There were warnings related to 12.1 database with a mismatch of character set. There were 3 warnings. One of them was related to character set for my 11G release 2A database, and there were 2 of the warnings for a possible mismatch between the database vault and the Oracle label security components missing in my pluggable database. Then I started fixing them by running certain scripts. Those scripts ran in well. This was for Oracle label security. Then I scroll further. After Oracle label security, it must have picked up the catmac for database vault installation. And once all of those scripts were run, let's scroll a little further. Quite a long running one. And then towards the end of it, when all those database vault related scripts were run, then it was time to fix the character sets. The character sets were fixed, and at the end of it I cleared all the warnings, and towards the end of the script, all that I asked it to do was to show me all the unresolved ones where the status is still showing pending. None of them are related to our databases, they are related to PDB $seed database, because when I created this database, possibly there were still certain components which are not installed in PDB seeds database, which is the database vault and Oracle label security, and at the end of it, it all went fine. Let us have a look at what scripts. So there was a before action and then there was a after action. For both before and after action, it has generated log file. I go to that custom location just to refresh your memories real quick. Remember, we had a couple of srvctl remove and upgrade statement. Let's see if I could see the effect of those statements there. I log in as a grid user. I set my environment to ASM, and then all that I am saying is CRSCTL status resource and -t. See, none of those databases which became pluggable databases can be seen now. I have the only one from our upgrade scenario, which is non-CDB 112B. It was to be upgraded from non-CDB 11G release 2 to non-CDB into 12.2. Let us quickly check if that has happened. I am logging in back in as Oracle user. I will have to adjust my menu entries now to this new environment, but let me set my environment to first 12.2, and let's change the name of the database to the upgraded database. Now I can show you DB details. You could see that this particular database is now 12.2 and the name of the database is non-CDB 112B. However, there's one more action that is pending, that is to optionally drop the restore point. It is recommended that if there are any guaranteed restore points, one should drop it after the end of the upgrade. And then there was a comment mentioning the same thing, that you have got one restore point which needs to be removed. So I would like to go and drop this restore point from the database as part of the completeness for my upgrade steps, which requires me to log on to my database and then drop the restore point. So I am connecting to my database 12.2 upgraded database. I check the name from my $v restore point, and then all that I need to do is drop the restore point. I don't need it any longer because there's no rollback I am planning to do for this particular database. Once that is done, I run the DB details script one more time, and now no more excessive flashback log generation because I have already dropped the restore point. Let us quickly go and set our environment to CDB, and I am showing PDBs associated with this. So this was the stock PDB that I already had prior to the start of this upgrade, which is of the 19C version. This one I have upgraded from 11G release 2 non-CDB to a pluggable database. This one was our initially 12.1 database. This one is 18C and this one is 12.2. All of them are now part of my upgraded environment. So now you know that an auto upgrade utility with one liner command and possibly optional pre and post upgrade fix up scripts, one can really automate the task of auto upgrading it, so it no longer becomes a babysitting activity for a DBA. Typically what happens, I have seen people prefer to do the upgrades using command line by running catcon or catcon and the upgrade scripts, the Perl scripts that are provided by Oracle. Some of them choose to run it using DBUA, Database Upgrade Assistant, but both those problems require extensive labor involvement. A DBA has to slog until all the upgrades are delivered. So I have seen this very thing happening with the Oracle DBAs, that the DBAs work long hours and the machine rarely works during the upgrade. You are not bombarding the machine with and testing the complete throttle power of your machine. With auto upgrade, a DBA can rest and put the machine to test its limits. So in this case, with a single auto upgrade command, we managed to upgrade all the 5 databases. All that a DBA has to do is keep on monitoring, and if you already tested this approach, put the auto upgrade to work and simply go to peaceful sleep. At the end of the auto upgrade, you know how long it's going to take from the previous iterations you might have done a status command on the auto upgrade prompt, and it would report you tentatively what time it's going to take. And if everything goes well as planned, at the end of it what I see is only my ASM instance running. Then I have the CDB all, where all these different instances, different databases have become pluggable databases now. So only one instance for the CDB, and the odd man out, which I upgraded from 11G release 2 to 12.2 non-CDB to CDB, non-CDB to non-CDB architecture again. And that's the end of our auto upgrade utility. So I would highly encourage, start practicing. This would save a lot of labor items. Now this topic especially becomes of some interest, given that we are already only 30 days short now, where all 11G, 12.1s, 12.2s are going to be deprecated, and 18C doesn't make sense. People may not want to upgrade it to 18C. People might want to directly go on to 19C, given that it's going to be a long-term support release until I believe mid of 2024. So given that people, they may have a huge technical debt, huge backlogs of the older version of the database still lying in your environment, it's time that you step up and you speed up the automation. And one way to do that is to effectively make use of the Oracle supplied Oracle Auto Upgrade Utility. With that, I come to this very end of this presentation. Thanks for sticking around, and thanks for joining in for this session. Have a good rest of the Sunday.